Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Deputy Secretary McKeon, as we discussed, I represent the horse capital of the world in central Kentucky, and I represent Keeneland Racecourse and Auction business, which operates the largest international thoroughbred horse sale in the world. We had a lot of difficulty in September obtaining the national interest exemptions for the foreign investors who wanted to invest hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in purchasing horses in central Kentucky. On Monday, the administration will finally lift its vague and arbitrary restrictions that do not allow fully vaccinated visa holding travelers come to the United States. And these individuals who were not allowed into the country, many of them were visa holding and fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, the same administration is allowing thousands of individuals to flood our southern border without even a COVID test. And we're even hearing about a Department of Justice proposal to pay illegal immigrants hundreds of thousands of dollars even though they violated U.S. law. So my question is, what is the State Department's plan to reopening our embassies and consulates for visa appointments and bring them back to full operational capacity? What percentage of your visa processing staff are back to pre-COVID levels? The frustration is palpable because we have foreign nationals fully vaccinated who can't get in to spend literally millions of dollars to advance our economy, but we're proposing to pay people who violated, hundreds of thousands of dollars to people who violated our laws.
So I'd say a couple of things, Congressman. First, as you mentioned, once we have the new policy in effect on November 8th, anybody who already has a visa and is vaccinated, because people may have multi-entry, multi-year visas, they can travel to the United States, or if they're citizens of a visa waiver, country that's in the visa waiver program. What our Consular Affairs Bureau is looking to do to expand our capacity to deal with non-immigrant visas, both business and tourism travelers, which is very important for lots of economic reasons that I don't have to tell you about, is to expand additional hires. They've got adequate funding now. The fees are flowing in an adequate so we can bring on more people.
Thank you. Let me just reclaim my time, and I appreciate that, and let's devote those resources so that we bring more personnel back to the consulates and embassies so that they can process these. Let me shift over to Afghanistan really quickly, and I'm going to show you this photograph, which was taken last week. This photograph was taken last week in Doha. Deputy Secretary McKeon, as you can see, this is China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi, who met with the Taliban's self-proclaimed Deputy Prime Minister and Acting Foreign Minister. This picture is of Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi with Acting Deputy Prime Minister of Afghan Taliban's interim government, Mullah Abdul Ghani Barador. The Chinese issued a statement that China will play a constructive role in restoring stability and achieving development in Afghanistan within China's capacity. Now, Secretary Blinken earlier this year told me in response to my question why they decided to abandon the only U.S. airbase in the country with a physical border with China, what he thought of, what was the thinking behind that. And Secretary Blinken said that China would have loved nothing more than for the United States to have stayed in Afghanistan. But Deputy Secretary, it's very evident from this interaction here from last week in Doha that China is more than content to fill the void left by the United States. Was China's encroachment into Afghanistan taken into account in the State Department's strategy of withdrawal? And did the State Department advise President Biden that enhanced Sino-Taliban relations would be the inevitable result?
Congressman, I'm not going to speak to the internal deliberations. I think in terms of China's interests, since they border Afghanistan, they have some interest in security and stability, but I wouldn't accept on face value the statement that you read about how much they're going to invest in the country.
Well, I would just say I'm sorry to reclaim his time. The Belt and Road Initiative is alive and well in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And this right here is the result of the administration's policy. Not only are we compromised from a counterterrorism perspective, not only do we no longer have air assets in a country with a physical border with the People's Republic of China, but we have new integration of our enemies, right now. And the world is a much less safe place because of this development. Let me ask you really quickly, finally, about rare earth minerals in Afghanistan. The country is estimated to have rare earth metal reserves between $1 trillion and $3 trillion. After the withdrawal, China's state-run tabloid, the Global Times, said that China would contribute post-war reconstruction and development, pushing forward projects under the China Belt and Road Initiative in Afghanistan. We see this. Can you speak to to China's newfound control over all of these rare earth elements and the supply chain now that they have a more integrated relationship with the Taliban?
Unfortunately, the gentleman's time has expired.